Hey guys, it's Vornskyr here, and today we're back in Euro Truck Sim 2, and we're taking a look at update 1.16. Now this hasn't really done a lot, but there is one big thing that this patch has done, and that's basically the game has been upgraded to have a 64-bit engine or 64-bit support or whatever, and that basically means that it can handle a lot more memory, like it'll use more memory when you're playing. And that's a pretty big change. It's good for performance and all that sort of thing, especially if you're using a lot of mods, which I tend to do. I mean, my performance still isn't great. If you've been watching my previous Euro Truck videos, you probably know that my performance has really started suffering lately, in Euro Truck, that is, in terms of frame rate. But yeah, so this has slightly helped that a bit. I think once my new graphics card gets here, that's really going to change things though. But anyway, you should notice a bit better just support and that sort of thing, or frame rate if you're using a lot of mods, thanks to this change. And I believe you still can launch the game with 32-bit if you're using a 32-bit operating system or something like that, and you can't actually use a 64-bit. If you can't use this 64-bit option, you can launch the game in a 32-bit mode. I believe there is actually, when you press play on Steam, there is a couple of different options that show up. I'll put an overlay on the screen so you guys can see that. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. There are some other things in this patch. Like apparently there's a new large truck dealer showroom sort of thing, but for some reason I don't know if my profile that I'm using is bugged or something like that. But I actually can't find that. Like the small and the large truck dealers look exactly the same for me. And I mean, you'll notice over there, you can see that blue trailer right at the very end. I'll actually drive a bit closer to it. You can see that's still the Christmas or the Xmas trailer pack. That's supposed to have been removed, so in this patch. So I don't really know what that is still doing here, basically. So I guess it's possible that there might be a problem with my profile. It could be that it just needs a bit of time to be flushed through the system as new jobs appear, the old ones are removed, or something like that. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So that's most of it. So let's actually jump in the cab of this truck and we'll do this delivery. It's a pretty short delivery. It's only like 60 kilometers or something. But one other thing with this change, there's a possibility that some map mods may not work. Apparently, like Pro mods, for example, when you go to a large truck dealership, the game will just crash if you use Pro mods. So ways to avoid that are either to wind back or downgrade your version to update 1.15. If you're not sure how to do that, just have a bit of a Google. There are plenty of different guides out there to do it, and it's really easy. So that's one possible thing. Alternately, you can just not go near any large truck dealerships and just wait for Pro mods to be updated. I'm sure they will update it at some point now that this mod is out. What else? I don't think that multiplayer mod is compatible with 1.16. So again, you'll either have to wait for that to be updated or downgrade your version. But I mean, we should be used to that by now. That's how mods work with this game. That's what happens. And I'm just going to try and push in front of one of these cars here. This one. So yeah, so that's all pretty good. So what else? Let's talk about this truck that I'm in. This is a Kenworth T800. Let's get an exterior look at that. It's a pretty cool truck. This one, I think the mod was released on like January 21st or something like that. There'll be a link to the mod download in the video description. But yeah, it's a pretty cool truck. It's got 3 different engine choices, or well, a variety of different engines, but 3 different manufacturers, I guess, and each of those comes with a different sound. It's got a bit of customization as well. So yeah, it's a really cool mod. And it drives really nicely as well. And I'm just going to run this red light because I've got $93 million and I don't really care. And I didn't even need to turn there, so that was pretty stupid. I was supposed to turn further up. That's what I get for not using my big GPS display. What else have we seen? So lately there's been a bit of American Truck Sim news coming out. SCS on their YouTube channel actually released a full hour's worth of gameplay, video of that gameplay, and that is really cool. So I mean, it shows that the game is definitely in a playable state. It's obviously not finished or anything like that. It's still in kind of alpha testing, I suppose. But it's all looking really cool. So that's pretty awesome, and I'm very excited to actually see that come out. I mean, realistically, it's basically more of the same. If you've played plenty of Euro Truck, then almost everything is basically the same from what we saw of American truck. I mean, obviously the map is different, as you would expect. The trucks are different, they're proper American trucks. But, I mean, all the menus and the way that the driving and everything seems, that's all basically the same. But, you know, I don't really mind that in this case, to be honest. In a way, it's kind of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, I guess. I mean, there are some things I'd like to see changed with Euro Truck, but for the most part, it's most of it's pretty good. So it makes sense that they would keep all that sort of thing the same with American Truck. And obviously, things like this 64-bit change, now that we've got this on Euro Truck, it's also going to be on American Truck Sim. Because from what I understand, that's how they're doing the development. They've basically got two teams kind of working in parallel. So when their Euro Truck team comes up with something cool, then that'll get put onto the American Truck as well, as long as it fits in with the game. Like, you know, they're not going to put something European-centric in the American Truck or vice versa. But in terms of like engine mechanics or that sort of thing, that will get transferred across. And yeah, so that's pretty awesome. So cool things that they come up with for Euro Truck will be in American Truck. Cool things they come up with for American Truck will eventually find their way into Euro Truck. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's all looking pretty good. So obviously, no real news on a release date for American Truck Sim, but it'll the way the gameplay looks, it will have to be sometime this year, probably middle of this year. I'm guessing. That's just totally my speculation. But yeah, so that's really cool, and hopefully that will not disappoint. Basically, I think most of us would hope that. I'm really liking this mod as well. Basically, this is the first time I've used it, but it's just handling really well. It's driving nice and smoothly. And I like this engine noise. This specific one is, I think, the TrackIR engine choice. Because I think there's, what is there actually? There's a Cat, a Cummins, and this TrackIR one. So, that wasn't very smart. And yeah, for me, I think this is probably my favourite one out of those three. Obviously, your preferences may vary. And the big problem with not using my big GPS display is that I don't actually know how far I am from the job. I mean, I can see that it's not that far away. It was only a 60-kilometre job or something anyway. But I mean, this is a pretty urgent delivery. We've got a load full of beer, and these people desperately need their beer. I can't really blame them for that. Let's actually go into this camera mode, the one that I always crash in. And I probably should be stopping here. Can't see anything wrong with my driving there. I'm sure that's how you're supposed to drive a truck. Let's just pull straight out. Why not? That's totally your fault. That's not my fault. And once I get myself in the right gear, there we go. Alright, so we're almost there. One of the cool things that I saw in the American Truck video is the drop-off points are very different to what we've got now. So it looks like you might actually have a choice of where to drop your trailers off. Like, you don't just have the one specific slot. Although that could have just been something that I've misinterpreted, or even a bug or something, I don't know. But that's what it kind of looked like, but who really knows? But yeah, I mean, just the way that you drive in and out of the drop-off points is a bit different. The cities themselves, they're more like proper cities now. They're not this like 2x2 sort of grid that you see me in now, or that sort of thing. It's like a proper sprawling city with all these buildings and all that sort of thing. So that's pretty awesome. And obviously, I'm just kind of rambling on here, changing subjects at the drop of a hat, but modding support, I would imagine, would be pretty much the same between American Truck and Euro Truck. I mean, likely the mod authors will have to change some things, but given that it's all the same engine and all that sort of thing, it should be pretty easy to transfer mods between the games. So I'd imagine that just as people put American trucks into Euro Truck Sim, you'd probably find a bunch of European trucks being modded into American Truck. Whether it fits the tone of the game or not, I think you'll probably find that happening. Let's come in here to the FedEx depot, apparently. And we'll see if I can park this up without making a fool of myself. Which is not guaranteed, but it would be nice. So let's go in here, just do a bit of this, try not to run into the wall. There we go, that's pretty good. A successful beer delivery. Wonderful. Cool. Well, there we go. So that's, I guess I'll end this here, I think. Obviously, check the video description for links to the patch notes as well as this truck mod, the Kenworth T800. But yeah, there's, like I was saying, it's not a big patch. It's not brought in many changes, but I think the changes that it has brought in are fairly important ones. I mean, when I first saw that they were going to 64-bit, I was actually surprised just because I didn't realize that it was a 32-bit engine. I mean, I probably could have researched that or whatever and found it out, but I just kind of expected it to be working on 64-bit. So that's a good upgrade to see. It's definitely kind of future-proofing it a little bit, I think, and I think it's probably a good indication for American truck sim as well. But yeah, so I think that's about all I have to say today. So I'll end this one here. So until next time, I've been Vornskyr. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.